Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines we have for you here. Binance retiring XRP addresses. Ripple victory could nullify the class action. We're going to hear from John Deaton on that. China and CBDCs, ladies and gentlemen, it's not good. South American countries called to join BRICS while BRICS is set to introduce its new currency. We're going to talk about it, and you need to know it. Raoul Pal, is the bear market over? We're going to talk about that and take a look at XRP price and three different technical analysts, and let's figure out what they're seeing on the charts, because I'm liking it. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, $1.23 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is up by 0.1%. Good afternoon, everybody. 30,600 plus for Bitcoin right now. 1898. It wants to be $1,900 for Ethereum, and 83.4 billion plus for Tether. We're going to talk about that before the day's over. And 47 cents for XRP right now. It's off by 1.4 in the last hour. It is not setting the world on fire right now, but that's okay. I Trust Capital is, because I Trust Capital is a place where you can get the best crypto IRAs on the planet, bar none. And I tell you, the only thing that gets me more excited than buying crypto is buying tax-free crypto inside my crypto IRA with I Trust Capital. Click that link below, and don't forget, you can roll over 401ks, 403bs, 457, and more. It's unbelievable the options you have there on that platform. Click the link. Binance is going to retire XRP addresses in upcoming wallet upgrade. If you are on Binance's platform, and I'm a U.S. resident, so I'm not, and I can't be. So if you are, you may want to check out exactly what is going on and make sure that you are not in risk of having any issues with that platform. In the midst of the ongoing legal battles for Ripple Labs, and remember, there are many, a victory in the SEC case could potentially invalidate the current class action lawsuit, according to John Deaton. Now, remember, there is the class action that John Deaton is doing. There is the Zakanoff class action in California. And then there is the SEC versus Ripple Labs lawsuit that we know about and are waiting for a decision in summary judgment from Judge Torres. Let's get into this, and shout out to John Deaton for this. The current class action lawsuit against Ripple Labs, its CEO Brad Garlinghouse and subsidiary XRP2, may be less of a concern for the company than anticipated, according to XRP-friendly lawyer John E. Deaton. In a recent tweet, Deaton suggested that the plaintiff's attorneys should be hoping for a Ripple victory in the ongoing SEC case, as a comprehensive SEC victory could lead to the establishment of a fund to pay XRP holders, consequently undermining the class action lawsuit. Deaton further explained that if the SEC were to triumph entirely, it would be the agency collecting the money, not the plaintiffs in the class action lawsuit. The crux of both the SEC and class action cases rests on determination of whether XRP, the Ripple-affiliated cryptocurrency, is considered a security. This crucial question has been the center of Ripple's legal challenges in recent years. Addressing concerns from international XRP holders, Deaton clarified that the certified classes in the class action lawsuit apply to only U.S. investors. He referred to the Financial Conduct Authority in the UK and equivalent bodies in Japan, Singapore, and UAE, which have declared XRP is not a security. Consequently, the certification does not affect XRP holders in these jurisdictions. Ripple Labs currently faces both SEC lawsuit and the certified class action, and Deaton's comments suggest the former may hold more significant consequences for the company. A Ripple victory in the SEC case could not only transform the landscape for the class action, but also have wide-ranging effects on the categorization and regulation of cryptocurrencies. Again, referencing the Zakanoff case out in California there. And remember, that case is following the SEC versus Ripple case. So we would look to the SEC versus Ripple case for that decision from Judge Torres to really kind of get a better direction, not only what's going to happen for Ripple and XRP, but for the class action out in California from Zakanoff, which is really a BS case in my eyes. This is not BS, however. Chinese state-owned banks are set to join efforts to integrate nation's central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, the digital yuan, with government-issued social security cards. Why does that sound not so good? Because it isn't. Thanks for answering. Bolivia's president, now listen, now this news we want to pay attention to. Now we know BRICS coalition has had multiple countries want to apply to join recently, and there's been a huge effort to ditch the US dollar and move to a BRICS coalition-backed new currency. Well, in efforts to grow BRICS, the coalition, Bolivia's president is calling on South American countries to ditch the U.S. dollar and bolster their alliances with China and the BRICS coalition. For those that don't know and are new to the space, BRICS is a coalition of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and there have been up to 17 to 19 different countries that have recently applied to join those countries in this BRICS coalition to create a new payment zone of all of these countries, and along with it, BRICS is set to introduce a new currency backed by gold, in contrast to the credit-backed U.S. dollar. With the decision coming a month ahead of the Bloc Summit in Johannesburg, with the growing initiative and more countries are lining up to join the group. I want you to hear this clip right here.
The BRICS group is set to introduce a new currency backed by gold, in contrast to the credit-backed US dollar, with countries lining up to join the growing initiative.
The BRICS countries are planning to introduce a new trading currency which will be backed by gold. More and more countries recently expressed desire to join BRICS.
The decision comes a month ahead of scheduled Alliance Summit in Johannesburg, South Africa. 41 countries have since shown their interest in BRICS membership and its new currency implementation. Russia's foreign ministry has stated that if African states show enthusiasm, the group's expansion may also be on a Russia-Africa summit's agenda in the end of July. As of now, the BRICS group remains comprised of Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. Former statistician general of South Africa, Pali Lehola, says the gold-backed currency will facilitate the advancement of developing countries.
Avoiding using the gold standard, we have gone for almost 45 years now, since 1980 when this was dropped. And we have seen the consequences, particularly of this to the developing countries, when the dollar was adopted as a standard and gold not as such. Yet against that, there's been accumulation of gold in the developing world. South Africa had a much stronger currency when the gold standard was still in force. By going the gold standard by many countries, that many African countries, of course, have, this will be of great benefit to strengthening the currency, the single currency that is backed by gold. It will facilitate development. Because after all, currency is the quantity of material things that societies have. If you use another currency based on material wealth or material things you don't have, it means that you are at the mercy of that country, and and they will charge commissions and the like.
So there you have it right there. They are moving towards it. They have a meeting in Johannesburg next month. We should learn more details about when this actually will launch. That is the hope here. And if it does, we need to find out exactly how many countries will be involved at BRICS at the time of its launch. And what would the real impact to de-dollarization will it have? How fast or slow will the transition be? I happen to believe this is a multi-year transition to a multipolar asset-backed system, moving away from the debt-based system we currently have that's fiat-backed by nothing other than the government's promise, which we've all come to learn isn't very good. Meanwhile, coming back out of the macro geopolitical position we were just in, let's talk about this. This is macro investor Raoul Pal here talking about the fact that we are getting, where are we? Is the crypto bear market almost over? We'll take a listen here.
You know, we've started to see the active addresses rising. We're starting to see activity rising, as we should be at this stage in the cycle, the crypto spring. We're starting to see people come out of hibernation, start exercising those muscles again, but we're not operating across everywhere. So we're seeing, you know, NFTs dead as a doornail, but we're starting to see more activity in Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin's great because it has huge value transacted. ETH has a lot more transactions, but they're lower in economic value, just the nature of the chains. So this is really, you know, and XRP, really interesting, is because it has very low value transactions, but a lot of them. They all work out, all of these work out roughly. It's fascinating. You know, we've started.
It is fascinating. And as we talk about the idea, and there's no mistake why I showed you the BRICS news this morning or this afternoon, I showed you that because we are watching a seismic shift. In fact, I believe we're watching the greatest financial paradigm shift in the history of mankind. And what you see here, Raoul Pal talking about, I believe, when he's talking about XRP, how it's very cheap to use, there's lots of transactions, it's efficient. We're talking about the ability to join these fractionalized payment zones of the world through distributed ledger technology and these value protocols that actually participate in complementing the current system and helping to relieve the stress and spillover shocks of the damage done of an overprinted fiat world. But we have to ask ourselves, if the crypto bear market is over, and we are in a crypto spring, does that mean Tether's free and clear? Because this here from Wheezy says, Tether Holdings has been shown to hold securities from Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, whose chairman and executive director, Chen Sikwing, here is an ex-head of Bank of China who is controlled by the CCP. Now, how about that? Now, I would like to know how the U.S. Treasury, the U.S. government, Department of Justice, and the private central bank known as the Federal Reserve feel about USD Tether backing their digital dollar, which is the product of the Federal Reserve, by the way, with products that are backed and controlled by the CCP. Is the bear market really in until we actually know that? And when it gets in, what are we looking at here? Is it green or is it blue? What are we looking at here? You can see, are we going to retrace and go deeper before we break out and go up? This is a great question and a very simple chart here, looking at this line, which could be support or resistance. Will we get above it as we are now and stay above it and bounce off the top of it and then go even higher? Or will we see a scenario where possibly some kind of event takes place, whether it's a USD Tether investigation based on what we just showed you, and that causes a deep hit to the market and a deep retracement to most tokens in the space, like XRP and others? And then we see an upside coming out of it. We don't know the answers. But I wanted to share this here because this is Dark Defender here, who says XRP is broken down two primary resistance. On the one hand, she touched 382 and 196 on the second. Well, the third resistance is also broken, says Dark Defender. XRP is expected to touch 339 now with wave 1, and then with wave 3 target will be $22. You look at this chart and you can see here that obviously this is a straight line, but everything here is not a straight line. So remember, markets move up and down, but showing these lines here, you could see wave target 1 coming off of this point, looking at the RSI down here and where the RSI was before that breakout. If we see a similar line up here between the RSI and this current spot in the chart, we could see a pop to 339 in wave 1. Then obviously a retracement, which is usually in the L8 wave, is usually a shorter retracement. And then a much larger burst on wave 3, which could take us to that $22 target that was mentioned. Then right here, we take a look at this. This is Coins Kid building a base on the 618. People laugh when I said it's a corrective phase of a bull market, but this has always been my projection from 2020. I just didn't envision the duration of wave 2. If XRP was a bear market, then XRP will go to 4 cents, no questions asked. Obviously, my count can be invalidated. Falling any lower than the 1 fib invalidates this setup entirely. I think the true bottom of wave 2 was January this year for XRP, a final wave truncation. Time will tell. The best of luck to you all. He says XRP 3-year cycle, 2017, then a pop again in 2020. 2023, if we stay on a 3-year cycle, could be this explosion that they're looking at here, which could take us here. It looks to be about $8 or $9 in this wave 3 here. So all of this is extremely interesting and things we want to watch closely here. None of this is a guarantee or an actual prediction. These are indicators using charting tools, and these are all opportunities and windows to watch out for to see how closely they may or may not play out. And until then, that's where we are. It's not financial advice from me or any of them. It's just our digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.